Okay, Waheguru Ji Khalsa, Waheguru Fateh, guys. How are you guys doing today? Good, good. How was everybody's week? Good, good, awesome. School was good?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. The learning, okay. So, Uncle, you messaged me earlier today. He just said he's not feeling well, so he wanted me to take over for the class today. So I'm gonna show you guys a video. I'm not actually, I don't, how can I say, I don't talk in Punjabi that much. I try to mix and match it, but mostly I talk English. So you might, maybe you guys remember him or you don't, but his name is Singh. But do you guys remember him by any chance or no? Just Singh? You guys do? Okay.
Yeah, I know him.
Okay.
He was a host.
Yeah. Pardon me?
Last time.
Yeah. So when the class used to go on in person before COVID, there's one video I actually found interesting. So I'll just share it to you guys. Oops. Give me a second. And just to let you know that this class is being recorded, so I'll post it on the YouTube channel and then on the Facebook channel as well too. So if you want to share and spread the message for next week coming forward, the classes, it's much easier than people for those that aren't able to attend. So then more and more people can actually come in the class. Okay, so let's get started. Here, can you guys see my screen?
No, it's still loading.
Okay.
Now we can see it.
Okay, now, where is this thing? Oops, let me turn this off. I'm gonna play it. Can you hear the audio? Can you hear the audio or no? Share audio. Here, hold on. Oh, stop wasting. Okay, here. Now I'm gonna share audio. Can you hear it?
No.
I said click share audio.
And this is to turn your camera off.
Pardon me?
We can't hear it.
Even remember.
Okay, I can hear from my end.
Oh, I heard that.
You heard it?
I heard one. I heard some words.
Who that person was. I think I was.
Can you hear it?
I look back at pictures of how I used to be and how I used to look, and it's almost as if I can't even remember who that person was. I think I was trying to find myself, but I wasn't giving it a conscious thought. And so I was truly lost for 19 years. The bullying at school made me feel isolated, it made me feel alone, and it made me feel literally like an alien that came from another planet. I was getting teased for it in so many ridiculous ways, and I didn't understand why this was so. And so I would be called to everything from terrorist to Paki. You know, when I cut my hair, I thought I was liberated in a sense, and I felt I was one of them. I felt I was part of the popular kids now in school.
Yeah, when I cut my hair, definitely I felt complete in the sense of being fitted with everyone else. At first, I felt like I did lose something, but when I got into class and school and I started getting into it, everything, the swing of things, I felt complete. I was more happier at that time.
A lot of people, actually women in our own faith and background, say things such as, I don't date sardars, which is a term that they use to call people who wear a turban.
None of these people have it on.
When I cut my hair in grade 5, that was one of the factors as well. I think I remember at the time as a kid thinking maybe this will lead to, looking more handsome in a way.
Yeah.
Because I would see this a lot, this image, and that gel was so firm. You touch my hair, it felt like you could bleed and cut yourself because it was, and I thought that was cool. I thought that was what girls liked.
Yeah, my time I used to put oil, mustard oil, mustard oil actually. Oh, awesome, man. I felt so cool. Slick back,
Yeah.
slick Rick.
My beard, and the philosopher that you are.
If you were to ask me the one reason why he decided to grow his hair back and find himself in his religion, I would say it's the drinking.
Remember sometimes crashing at a friend's place, and you know the morning of 11 a.m. I wake up and I crack open another beer
Yep.
and get the party started at 11 in the morning the next day.
Yeah.
And
Or like
too.
the parents are like, you know, what's wrong with you guys? You know, don't you feel ashamed like drinking at 11 in the morning? Most people are drinking coffees right now, and you guys are having beer. I'm like, hey, get the party started early. The difference between Jesse, the Jesse that I know, is he was a reckless guy, just a troublemaker, you know, hanging out with his buddies, up to no good, you know, just a guy that he wasn't really thinking about the future. Now I find that Jaskinwall is someone that's more focused on being himself, a better version of himself, self-development, being a better son, a better friend, you know, a better community member, giving back to the kids, you know, teaching and mentoring them, being a role model.
As if I can't even remember who that person was. Jesse to me was someone that wasn't someone the real me wanted to be.
Monster, it was like a monster.
I'm called like a potato head, terrorist, and like stuff that like refers like insults towards my turban.
When I see kids tell me what they've been called at school for wearing a turban, it really saddens me, and it truly understand what they go through, because obviously it happened to me. And so a part of me feels as if I step back into who I was as a kid. There are some kids who are defiant in wearing their turban and won't let that bullying get to them, and I feel so proud of those kids, and I'm happy that they know their roots in the ways that I didn't get to know mine. I'm just the happiest I've ever been. I feel at peace. I feel in bliss, really. Each day I feel stronger and stronger mentally, and even physically. I just feel like a better person. I feel like I'm myself again. I feel as if I'm connecting with my roots, and I feel like I've grasped what my life is truly about.
Okay. So, what do you guys think about that video? Good? Any feedback? What do you guys think about it? Like, what do you guys find about interesting? I can't hear you. Turn your. What about? After. Yes, if I can't hear you. Who? Participants seat. Why is it showing any participants? Here's a row. Host. Here you go. Oops. Admit. I can't hear you guys.
Because we're muted.
Okay. So I have to unmute all of you guys. Let me just see participant. How do you unmute everyone? Oh, unmute all. Allow participants. Oh, here. Allow participant. Oh, here. There. Can you guys talk now? Just heard someone. What does this means to me? Ask her. Okay, can you hear it? Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you guys think about the video now?
I was just thinking. We're muted.
No, it's unmuted. It's nice, okay?
The video was nice.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, here is another video I found interesting today. It is called this one. No, this one. Go back. No, not this one. That's a class page. No. Give me 1 second. Where's the video from? This one. Okay, here is another interesting video. Going to play right now. Share my screen. Oops. Okay, can you see the screen?
Sin depends.
Good. Can you hear the audio? Okay, start up.
How you define sin. We have 4 sins. Correct. The word is cutting my hair actually a sin? Depends how you define sin. We have 4 sins. Correct. The word is correct. I don't know how you translate correct into English. Does anybody have an idea? Prohibition, things that you are stopped from doing, against doing. But it's not sin. It's not the same word as sin. So the correct is cutting your hair. And in all spiritual traditions, hair has been kept. Think about the standard picture that you see of Jesus Christ. Long hair and a beard. Think about Buddha. All the Buddhists have got shaved heads, but Buddha's got a Judah on his head. I don't know much about Buddhism. You can teach me a lot more, I'm sure. I don't know what that relationship is, but I look at a picture of Buddha and I say, oh, he's got hair. Yeah? So, Muhammad, the reason Muslims keep a dadi, you ask them, why do you keep your dadi? They said, because the Prophet Muhammad kept a dadi. That's the reason why we keep a dadi. So, spirituality and acceptance of the human form has always been part of the spiritual path. That this is, if the path is to realize that everything is God, then why am I cutting God? If the path is to realize that everything is God, then why am I cutting God? So it goes hand in hand with this. But I won't go as far as saying it's a sin, because the sin is like there's a God up there and he's looking down on you and he's saying, nope, you're not allowed in, your hair is cut. And he's giving a cross. There's like a checklist. When I did my driving test, there's a very intimidating man sitting next to me and he's got a checklist. Does he do all the stuff? But he doesn't tick the good stuff. He ticks all the bad stuff that you've done. Like, oh, he didn't look in his mirror or he didn't signal. Tick, tick. And every time he's ticking, I'm looking over there like, he's put another tick against my name. And if you get more than, I think, 15 ticks against your name, then you failed your driving test. Right? I don't know how it is here. So we've made God like that. So we've made God into, I've got a checkbox. As long as I tick all the boxes, I'm doing all the right stuff, God is happy. And as long as I don't tick any of the bad boxes, that's not what Sikhi is, according to my understanding. Hair is not about sin and not sin. This is like, to me, I see hair like the flowers at the end of a tree. Why would you want to cut the flowers off? To me, this is my expression of my inner happiness. When I found inner happiness, I expressed it in this external beauty. I'm saying, wow, look at this. And I'm not even saying, look at this, I'm decorating it with beautiful clothes and a beautiful turban. This is my decoration because I found this to be beautiful. So my external roop, the form, is an expression of my inner happiness. So why would I want to cut it? It's like, this is beautiful. It's like asking the tree, why haven't you trimmed all the flowers off? The tree will say, why would I want to do that? It's amazing, it's beautiful, this is who I am. This is the expression of who I am. Now if you say, is it a sin to cut the flowers off. No, it's not a sin, but why would you want to do that? After the flower, if you don't cut the flower will change into a fruit. And then from the fruit, you can eat the fruit. And from the fruit, there'll be a seed. And from the seed, there'll be another tree. This is a beautiful system. And this is a beautiful system as well. But you only feel like that when you've understood that from internally. Your hair is the expression of the internal joy and bliss that you feel. If you're questioning whether you should or you shouldn't cut your hair, it's nothing to do with your hair. What you should really be questioning is, why don't I have that inner bliss that I can accept how beautiful this is? The question comes from the inside first. And I always say Sikhi starts from the inside first. Cut your hair, don't cut your hair, it isn't where Sikhi is at. Because you will convince yourself that if Sikhi is keeping your hair, then you will convince yourself that I am a Sikh because I kept my hair. You're not a Sikh if you kept your hair. You're a Sikh if you've taken on the wisdom of the Guru. If you've practiced the mentality of the Guru. Guru is a wisdom, and we have to take that mentality on. We have to live that. We have to live and breathe it. That is a Sikh. And the hair is the expression of that wisdom. So if you're debating whether or not you should cut your hair, it means that you're looking at, should I be a good Sikh or a bad Sikh? Because a good Sikh keeps their hair and a bad Sikh cuts their hair. That's not how I understand it. You should really be asking your question, why haven't I found this inner bliss that I can accept my body? It means that I'm in a state of discomfort. My external form, the external form that has been given to me by the beauty of nature, is uncomfortable to me. And I need to work on that discomfort. Where is that discomfort coming from? Who tells me that this form is ugly? Who told me that hair is ugly? Where does that come from? Who said that? Who polluted my thinking to make me think that the flower at the end of the tree is ugly? Who made me think like that? The Guru doesn't make me think like that. So how can I change my thinking? You have to ask yourself the question, why do I want to cut my hair? That would be my question to you, rather than should I or shouldn't I cut my hair? The question, why would I want to cut my hair? What is the influence that's cutting my hair? What is that? Is it to satisfy the ego? Is it because I feel better? I'm not telling you not to cut your hair. Let me be clear. I'm not telling you don't cut your hair. That's not my decision for you. It's not for me to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. It's my only desire is I can give you perspective. And the perspective I take on that is when you cut your hair, what you're really saying is, I will allow society to define who I am. And I think the Khalsa is Nyara. I think the Khalsa is strong and unique and independent. That says, I don't need you to define who I am. I don't need society and culture to define who I am. The Guru will help me decide who I am. Now, I do take your point. There's a point that you made that the Sikh and the Khalsa, can we make a distinction between that? Should we say that some people are Sikhs and say study Sikhs and all that, and there are some Khalsa Sikhs who keep their hair? Well, that's the paradigm that we have at the moment. That is the view that we have at the moment. That even in the Sikh Raat Maryada talks about Sexuality Sikhs, which are the Sikhs who don't choose to adopt the Khalsa lifestyle, who choose to cut their hair. So I don't think, my biggest issue is with judgment. That's my biggest issue, is the ones who keep their hair think that they have the right to judge the people who don't and make them feel inferior. And that to me is the epitome of ego. If you keep your hair, the reason you're keeping your hair was to kill your ego, not for you to build an ego that says, I am better than you. The fact that you are judging me means you are not following your Guru's teachings. The fact that you make me feel inferior means you are not a Sikh of my Guru. My Guru would never make me feel inferior. I don't believe Guru Nanak Dev Ji would ever have done that to any of the Sikhs, or Buddhists, or Hindus, or atheists, or anyone, to make them feel inferior. This is not Guru Nanak Sikhi. Judgment and ego is a big disease amongst the so-called Amritari classes. And I can say that because I am an Amritari. I know that there are too many Amritaris who think that they are better than the non-Amritaris. I have even seen, and I'm sure you've seen, people who were amazing people when they had a cut hair. When they became Amritaris, they became horrible people. I've seen that, and I'm sure you've seen that. Because they've convinced themselves, I've taken Amrit, I used to be a Manmukh, now I'm a Gurmukh. And I say to them, If you can call yourself a Gurmukh, you're not a Gurmukh. If you, so all those people that are walking around thinking they're a Gursikh and they're a Gurmukh because they've kept their hair and they're a Amritari, they're not. They are a Manmukh. Because Manmukh means I'm still listening to the ego of the mind. I'm still listening to that voice of the mind that says, I am better than you. The whole purpose of hair was to get rid of your ego. And you've used the hair to build your ego. Completely opposite to Gurmat.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. This is your brother Omar.
Okay, so what do you guys think about this video now I shared with you? Good? Okay, I'm going to show you another one. Interesting, I found here. Can we cut hair? So what? This is another one. Oops. No, oh. Give me a second, where is it? Where's share screen? Anything that comes up.
Prayers to do kirtan and part, if it's that's a very good question. So somebody from the Hindu tradition is asking, is it useless for me to do Sikh prayers, to do kirtan and part, if it's being done while I'm cutting my hair? And should I be looking towards being baptized within Sikhi in order to gain any sort of final victory out of this, or any sort of final sort of reward out of this? I would say that part is never useless. I would say kirtan is never useless. Of course, everybody is on their journey. Everybody is on their spiritual journey. But kirtan, and more importantly, understanding what the Guru is saying, is never going to be a useless thing to do. So I wouldn't be too disheartened about it. But I think the key thing that Siddhant said is that I am a Hindu, so of course I cut my hair. Now what that reminds me of a story of a Hindu master that went to Guru Gobind Singh Ji and said, I understand what you're doing, I get that you are starting this great spiritual tradition, but why the need for hair? I don't understand why in this modern day and age we need to grow our hair. And this is a Hindu talking to Guru Gobind Singh Ji back at the time of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And he said, this is the modern age now, we don't need to do this. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji replies back and says that you are a Hindu, you have studied your scriptures, but he says you haven't understood your scriptures. You haven't understood that hair is something that belongs to your tradition. If you go back to all of your great warriors, your great meditators, they all grew their hair. This is not my tradition. This is not my thing that I'm starting a new religion. He says, you've not understood your own tradition. And he says, what you're doing is you're ignoring your own tradition of growing your hair and you're blaming on modern times. And he says, tell me what's so modern about the time. He said, people are the same. He said, the worries of mankind are exactly the same. The duties of mankind, we all go to work, we all earn a living, we all raise a family. He says, the sun shines the same, the grass grows the same, the trees, the sky is the same color, everything's the same. He says, you're blaming this idea of modernity. And he's saying, you're saying that the world is modern, but nothing is modern. He says, so you don't understand the modern age and you don't understand the ancient age. You haven't understood anything. So I think it's very telling that the modern world is now convincing even the ancient traditions that actually you don't need to grow your hair. Look at every ancient tradition, every spiritual tradition. Buddha is seen with a jura, with a top knot on his head. Christ is depicted with long hair and a beard. All of the great Hindu mystics are seen in the same way. All Greek gods are seen with long hair and a long beard. Where on earth has mankind been convinced that this isn't part of who we are? So I don't think that we need to blame modern life. We need to look at ourselves. The reality is the majority of people are cutting their hair because they're a little bit concerned about how they're going to be perceived. And so a part of you is still holding on to this idea that actually I'm worried about how I look. the whole path of Guru Nanak is to say, let it all go. Why don't you just accept? Because Guru Nanak's path says that the very first thing you have to do is accept hukam. Hukam says this is the way of the world. This is the way of mankind. A really interesting question that we always get asked as Sikhs is, why are you growing your hair? But the appropriate response is that we're not growing our hair. This is what happens when you don't do anything. When you simply leave your body alone, this is what it looks like. And the very path of Sikhi, the very answer to the question of what is Sikhi, it is to accept hukam. As the universe is, go with it. If you want to meditate, Guruji says that nobody can give you any other way of meditating. The way of meditating is to accept hukam. So this is a really important part of it. So I will always say, people, please carry on doing part, please carry on doing kirtan, but please also try and understand what the Guru is saying. The Guru is saying, just let it go. And I think that comes from a very famous Disney song as well, Let It Go. So teach your children, let it go, let it go. Let it all go. Let your body do what it was made to do. If you cut your hair, it comes back. That's your body telling you something. Yeah? And if you're singing kirtan, great. But don't think you're singing to someone out there. You're singing to the very natural order of the universe. Sing to hukam. Let hukam do its job. And then your kirtan, your bhakti, your part will become a lot easier.
Okay, so let me do this now. I'm going to show you what is lust. No. I'm going to show you one last video and then we'll call it the day, okay? One last video. Okay. 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 Show screen again. Last video. This one. What is lust? 4 time runs out.
In this video, we are going to be discussing a sensitive and mature subject, and there are going to be discussions of a sexual nature. I'm mainly going to be addressing men, but hopefully the things that we talk about today will be useful for women as well. Now, you may have heard some conflicting information about sexuality, lust, pornography, and masturbation. Modern psychologists and scientists will tell you that regular masturbation is completely normal and can even be healthy for you. And on the other side, you get religious groups telling you that your sexual desires are sinful and will lead you to hell. So which one is it? Is it really harmful to look at somebody else in a sexual manner? If you're not hurting anyone, why do you need to stop it? Why do you need to control it? Why not just carry on as you are? So in this video, we're going to be talking about lust from a spiritual perspective. What exactly is lust, and how does it impact our spiritual lives? And how can you tell whether your urges and desires are really lust or just some other emotion? We will also be looking at how to control your lust and your sexual urges. So what is lust? Let me start by saying what lust is not. Lust is not sexual activity. Lust is not sex, not watching pornography, and lust is not masturbation. What lust is the point at which your sexual desire becomes an overpowering craving. A craving that becomes an obsession that clouds your judgment. The point at which your obsession doesn't allow you to think about anything else. It's where your desire becomes addictive. Remember, an addiction is something that you can't stop yourself from doing. An addiction is something, anything that you can't say no to, even if you want to try and stop. And you can have lust for anything. You can have lust over food, over possessions, over emotions and experiences, or lust for another person. In ancient Indian spiritual traditions, the word for lust is kaam. And kaam has been used for sexual desire, but also to mean a craving or a desire for anything. So all desires are essentially a form of kaam, a type of lust. And in English we say something similar, that at certain points you can start lusting over things. You can have a desire, a wish, but at some point that wish can become overpowering, where you start lusting over it. So how can you tell if what you're experiencing is lust or some other emotion? The point at which you become hypnotized and you can't think about anything else, that is the definition of lust. In the Sikh spiritual tradition, the Guru says, Is dehi andar panch chor vasai, kaam, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankara, amrit lute, man mukh nahi bujai, koi na sune pukara. In this body, there are 5 passions: Kaam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Hankar. Lust, anger, greed, attachment, and pride. And what these do is Amrit Lute. They steal your awareness. So the way that you can tell if you're experiencing lust is if you reach a point where you're so hypnotized by the thing that you're craving over that you just can't think about anything else. So let me give some examples, especially for you guys out there. Have you ever noticed when you're walking down the street, your mind starts to look at the bodies of other people? If you're attracted to women, your mind starts looking at all of the bodies of the women all around you. You can't help but stare. So my question to you at that point is, where is your awareness? This is a question that you have to become comfortable asking yourself. At every moment, can you check with yourself? Where is my awareness? Do I have a heightened sense of awareness, or has something in front of me distracted me? Am I lusting over something else? And this isn't just for single guys. This applies to married men as well. And in fact, you can have lust within your own marriage as well. In your own married relationships, are you constantly craving sexual attention? This is something that you have to question yourself. This isn't about having a blanket rule where somebody says this is what you are allowed and what you're not allowed to do. In spirituality, the onus is very much on you and your self-reflection. So it's okay to find someone attractive. In fact, we're hardwired to constantly look for a mate. But the point at which that initial attraction becomes something that you dwell upon, where it clouds your judgment, where you can't think about anything else, that's when attraction and initial desire has turned into lust. It's okay if you're watching a TV program or a movie with the occasional scene of nudity in there. The question you have to ask yourself is, can I control my attraction? Can I control my desires or my urges? Is this distracting me? Is this clouding my judgment? So remember, lust is not about what you do. It's not about how much sex you have. It's about where is your awareness. Is your awareness on the highest state of consciousness, or is it completely drawn in the everyday, mundane, temporary attachments?
Okay. So what do you guys think of that, about that? It's good. Okay. Okay, we are and class now. Have a great week. Have a great week. Stay safe. Okay. last time. Yep. Yep. I'm meeting now, okay? So Waheguru Khalsa, Waheguru Fateh, guys. Hands off now. That's no 1 minute. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna be going on uploading. Where is it?